What is going on, you sexy mofos? Today's a beautiful sunny day in LA. You're not dreaming. I'm Alejandro, and let's talk about cars, yo. Hit it, Pedro. Now, I know what you're thinking. What the fuck is going on and why are you doing this again? And the reason why is because we do this as a podcast, so we're going to change that format a little bit. We're going to keep it as a podcast. And what I want to do is just give you a short rundown of some interesting news that we do in the podcast in this format, so that we don't get rid of this format that you guys like so much and keep asking me to bring back. And we can keep the podcast the way it is, because the podcast is killing it on its own. Therefore, it's liked. You guys like it. We love doing it, so let's keep it rolling. Now, let's start the show. In this episode of Let's Talk About Cars here, we're going to talk about one thing that we talked about on the podcast, and that is going to be the Porsche Exclusive Series Coupe. That's one. But also, we're going to talk about the GT2 RS, because something happened over the weekend, and we haven't talked about it, so we must talk about it. Now, let's start with the first start of the show. Porsche revealed that they're going to be releasing a brand new, more exclusive and limited version of their 911 Turbo, and they're going to be calling it the Exclusive Series Coupe. I promise you that's the name. I know it sounds like they put a lot of R&D into the name, and they most likely did. So what's the big deal about this car, and why are we talking about it? Number one, the Porsche Turbo, for those of you guys who don't know, is Porsche's fastest production vehicle that they sell. That is the biggest 911 you can possibly buy today. Production car, no limited numbers, no exclusive series, none of that. Now, that car is already pricey as is. It's already fast as is. So what are they adding here? And it's nothing groundbreaking. They're doing a more limited edition version of it for those customers who really want to take it to the next level. That means it's going to be a higher spec car. So let's start with the price. It's going to be priced at a base of $255,000. That's about $50,000 more than a standard Turbo S Coupe. So what do you get out of the bumping price? What you get out of from that bumping price is 27 more horsepower, bumping the total output to 607 horsepower. The 0 to 60 remains the same, 2.8 seconds. The top speed remains the same, 205 miles an hour. But what you get on the outside is you get a lot more delicious carbon fiber work by Porsche. This is really what they're trying to do. They're trying to show off their new carbon fiber work. Also, on top of the carbon fiber, you get more badging. I know all collectors love badging. This car has more badges than you can possibly imagine. So, collector's car, it qualifies, if you want to call it that. And also, they're adding a few colors. So they have the gold car, which is the one we've all seen in every single press release, which is insane. I'm actually very tempted to buy one of these. They're only going to be making 500 cars, so it's a very limited car. Production-wise, you're barely going to see any of them. And this is going to take me to my question of the day for you guys, which is, do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's worth the price bump to buy this car, which is a more limited series of the Turbo? Here's my thing with it. I've always wanted to buy a Porsche Turbo. Always, always, always. It's been a dream of mine ever since I found out that it existed. The one with 420 horsepower back in the day. That's the first one that I admired and became a fan of. But it's always been, once I was able to afford it, it's always been in that spot where it's a daily, because it's not a very exciting car, so it's not your sports car. And do you really want to pay for depreciation? So I figured this time around they have a more exclusive version of it, so maybe depreciation is not going to hit as hard as in the other one. But I'm not entirely sure of that. Do you guys think depreciation will kill this car like any other regular Turbo, or even more, or none? So let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you want to add a couple of options to your Turbo S Exclusive Edition, you can get a luggage set with 5 pieces for about $6,400, or you can even get a watch that has carbon fiber and everything to match your beautiful car for $8,000 more. So I don't think I'll be getting those, but I'm interested in getting the car. So let me know your thoughts. And from that one, let's jump into more Porsche news, because you guys know that I'm a Porsche collector, VIP Porsche collector, love Porsches. I want them all. And the one that we're going to talk about is the one that I've been waiting on for years and years, and this is the brand new GT2 RS. Over the weekend, and I think it was yesterday, during Microsoft's E3, they released Forza Motorsport 7, and in that video game, they unveiled or revealed the new GT2 RS, which was awesome. That is the first time I've ever seen that happen. They announced, not really announced the car, they just showed the car. So a lot of people are wondering. Let me just explain what the GT2 RS is. Back in the day, the last GT2 RS they made, and even the first one, they call them the Widowmakers. These are very powerful cars, rear-wheel drive cars that have a lot of powers with the V6 twin turbo engines. The first ones had no electric aids, no assists, so it was really hard to control. but they've gotten more civil. Even the last one, though, it's a gem. And actually, I think that car is on the verge of appreciation because it's confirmed. It's a PDK, and now the old one has a manual transmission. You know that a lot of Porsche purists, guys, love that, and it was a very limited car. So that car's going to go up in value like crazy. But what about the new one, Alejandro? The new one's going to come with a PDK, rear-wheel drive, rear-wheel steering. It's going to be a bullet. They want to make it so that it can destroy basically anything that's out there in 4 wheels or more. That's Porsche's mission with this car. That's why I'm the most excited about this car. I'm sure it's going to be epic on the track, but I'm also sure it's going to be a very comfortable car to drive to the track and back after you're done destroying the car around on the track a little bit. So that's the appeal in that car. They're going to make them very limited. The thing about the announcement that just happened, guys, is the car wasn't really revealed, unveiled, or at least made available for sale. So they haven't announced anything. None of the specs were talked about. They just said that it's going to be the most powerful 911 ever made, which of course should be obvious. The driving experience is going to be insane based on everything they're adding to the car, but nothing more was said. They said they were going to do 641 horsepower. That's like what everyone's guessing, but that's just 20 horses more than the old one. And I don't know if that sounds right or not. It depends on, you know, how they put the car together. Rumor has it that it's going to be the same engine that you find in the 991.2 Turbo S, but they're going to tweak it, obviously. And they're not just going to like do an ECU tweak. They're saying they're going to work on the cylinder heads and all of that good stuff to make the engine way more powerful, more responsive, and different. So it's not just going to be the same thing. But nothing is official yet. Nothing has been announced other than we saw the car. And we know it's called the GT2 RS, and we know what it's going to look like. Other than that, guys, we're still waiting. I think Porsche is going to announce it at Goodwood because that's the next festival that's coming up. That's important, big event where everyone's going. All media is going to be there. So if I'm putting my money on something, it would be Goodwood, and if not, Paris. But anyways, guys, thank you so very much for watching. I missed you fuckers. I'm Alejandro, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy.